Okay, so my question one, or my project one, has both questions, addresses both question one and two. Question one was creating a shader class. So here's the optimized shader class. Used to have two structs, but now it's condensed into one after further thought and heated discussion with a classmate. So I know he's an idiot. But yeah, so past that, within the actual shader class, it sets up the specific buffer that uses the WVP buffer that was set up within the actual this part here, and within there it has the functions to do the, I forgot what they're called, but it sends all the matrix information, including the color, into actual the update resources function to go down the pipeline and actually do the thing. Here's set the context, and then within DX app, I have multiple matrices for part 2, and I actually set up another matrix called my ass because I was angry, but at the same time it perfectly fixed. But basically what happens after the initial setup of the world matrices is my ass, or view my ass, is called every update cycle to multiply the matrices of the view and the project, and then every time the pointer to the optimized color pointer thing is called, it takes in a world, and then it takes in view my ass to multiply by it, and then a color to apply later, and then renders it down the line. And that's for all 5. I'll play that it works. Today would be nice. Why is it currently busy? There you go. I love AVG, it messes everything up. Anyway, so there's one cube, but then when you turn it, there's the 5 other cubes, or 4 other cubes, so there's a grand total of 5. They're just transposed by simple offsets of positive and negative 3s. Okay, so that was 1 and 2, and then terminate that, stop, okay. And then with 3, let's go over 5 real quick, just because it's a pain in the ass. So my biggest problem here with 5 was my alignment for the indents here, specifically in this part right here. Let me turn that off, sorry. That part right there was off by a single space or something, and it fucking loaded the sprites in incorrectly. But anyway, so it basically takes in the very similar to the view and color buffer from the DX app, but then within the actual code it takes in this function here, so that it calls the buffers within texture itself. And it took me a while to figure out that you can just call get context, you don't have to pass in device context. And then there's the send world, send camera, set to context. Here's the actual base code. I could have changed the names, but I chose not to because I'm a lazy piece of shit. Let's see what else. Oh, within model tools, I have the 6-faced box and the pyramid. For the pyramid, it was fairly simple actually, since I always knew which way was up, so it wasn't that bad for setting up the faces to always find which one's up. The biggest problem I had was here, only because I kept jumbling which side, since I was using the create union box repeating texture as a base. But after finding the right one, it worked out nicely. And then the six-sided face one was, it wasn't really hard, it was more so just tedious in that I took the image from was it D2L and actually measured out everything, finding that everything is about 0.125, I guess, pixels or whatever away. So it was basically once I mapped out, what did I do first? I did left and then bottom. Once I mapped out those two, it was easy to figure out just using simple math and weird looking diagram for the next four, which also turned out nicely. And I could play it real quick, show you it works. I guess while this is happening, I could go over the, oh, never mind. Well, there's the six-sided cube. There's bot, front, left, bottom, right, top. I think the image was like that. Top, right, left. Right. So yeah, while we're waiting for a bit, for question one, there was the crate looking thing, and that was sized perfectly to the square. So when switching the texture in and out for that, it produced that image on all six sides, because the standard vector without any specification of what to apply to it is all zeros, and since it matches perfectly, it did that. Same with the six-sided block one. It did the actual image that we were provided of the six-sided block, but that weird six-sided block like template was on each side because we didn't have our custom inputs. And for the small checkerboard one, it was an example of magnification because its size was too small compared to what it was supposed to be mapped to. And then when playing with like the linear and that other one, the other one was a point, didn't really do much, but linear caused like a weird blurring of the line. What else? Oh, and then the weird star looking one, that is extremely large for the size of the texture that we have. So it just blew out the whole thing with the very edge corner, which was like a weird salmon-y color. Well, yeah, so those were that pretty much. And then for further question two, when I ran it, it was more so, it increased performance by 10% on the left side, in specifically the draw cycle, since it was doing most of the not doing most of it, but it did not as many calculations outside of the loop, but within it had more external code being called for the lower draw cycle percentage. So that boosted from 0.4 in the unoptimized to about a 2 in the optimized version, which makes sense since you're doing some of the calculations outside of the actual loop itself, or at least not as many times. Oh, and I guess I forgot to show you the triangle. So let's scroll down. Oh, that's header file. Triangle goes like this. So you comment out this one and you open this one. And you comment out this one. And then you open unit pyramid structure. Play. But yeah, that's about it. So it's more so of a trade-off from internal loop code with external code, but not as much. And there's the triangle. Yeah, this square on the bottom gave me some problems. But yeah, triangle, all that fun stuff. See ya. Bye. Yeah.